What's up, everybody? Welcome to another amazing edition of the Evening Alpha. I'm your host, Todd. Oh, hey, Dusty.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Everything's great.
Everything's great. 8-10. Did I beat the bet? Nailed it. Damn it. I was trying for 809 just so that KG wouldn't win yet again. But
Again.
KG wins again. But I'm trying. I'm here. I'm with you. I am present. KG's like on the money. Yes. We need to start giving away BAMF to the winner. we should start doing that, like doing the call out, and whoever guesses the time I actually show up wins BAMF. BAMF, by the way, is going to have something very, very cool attached to it. So trust me, you're going to want to win that. Awesome. So before we jump in, we got some good stuff planned tonight. We're going to do a little bit more talking about Midjourney, of course, and we're going to talk about some ideas that we had based on how the contest is going and some of the things that we see, and good stuff, really cool stuff. So, but before we jump into just sort of chilling and hanging out, Dusty, you want to talk about a couple things we've got going on?
Yeah, so one thing we've got going on is our Twitter engagement contest. So right now on Twitter, we are giving away an autographed Min Pass #1, I think a Hell Draconis lore collab cover, and a few other prizes. And all you have to do is tweet out our handle at Adult Fantasy NFT and mention our hashtag Adult Fantasy NFT. And doing either one of those on Twitter in a post will get you points. And we have a leaderboard, which is periodically posted on Twitter and also available in our Discord. And the winner at the end of the period will win an autographed NFT.
Awesome.
But it won't be autographed by me.
Awesome. So what's up, Rages? How you doing? Dusty? Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, here I am.
What's up, Natasha? How are you? KG, of course. Willie D. Carrots, how you doing? And Natasha says Adult Fantasy NFT, hashtag Adult Fantasy NFT. Absolutely. Yeah, I was my day was crazy, man. We did stand up, and then I left for a lunch meeting that I had, but I made the mistake of scheduling the lunch meeting for 1 p.m. Eastern, which sounds fine, except that, like, okay, context. At my house, I have the work calendar, which I try to put everything on. We also have a family calendar that's in the kitchen, which I sometimes forget exists. And I should add it to my work calendar, which is like right here on my Trello board. And so I looked at my calendar and I was like, cool, I got this 1 o'clock lunch. Melissa comes in. She's like, hey, you got that lunch today? I was like, yep, I got that lunch. And I got that lunch appointment. She says, what time is it? I say 1 p.m. She says, she gives me that look that, oh, you know, that look like your significant other is just like, really? You know, like, and all of a sudden you're like, what did I do? Something is wrong. This is not going, there's a problem. And I was like, yeah, like, can I go? Like, it's been scheduled. And apparently she said, so who's going to pick up your daughter at 2 p.m.? So I had scheduled a lunch for 1 p.m. across town, and I had to pick up my kid at 2 p.m. at kindergarten, and we only have one car. So there was no way to do this. There's no way to do this. So I took a Lyft.
Yes.
I'm at stand up this morning with everybody, and I'm just like, I'm ordering basically a Lyft right now. I'm going to drive across town to this lunch meeting. But it was a good lunch meeting. You know, it took me like 3 hours, which feels like a normal New York City lunch. So it's pretty good. It was business contact. So it was a really good showing. It definitely bore fruit. So yeah, it's good stuff. Man, we're moving. That's for sure.
I will say though, this morning at stand up, I felt a little bit like I was at an auction house with how fast Todd was going.
Yeah.
Then he's like, okay, bye. There he goes.
Well, that's how stand-ups are supposed to be. Stand-ups in sort of a technology environment are supposed to be like 15, 20 minutes capped. Even no matter how many people we have there, you're supposed to be really fast. Our stand-ups tend to be longer because we go through our stuff and then we end up hanging out and talking. And okay, to be fair, I end up talking. And that adds an additional like 30 minutes to the conversation. Everybody gets quiet. Their eyes are over here looking at their second monitor, like they're surfing Google or something, and I'm just proselytizing and spreading the evangelical adult fantasyness. And, and Natasha says, great auctioneer imitation. just stand up. It's fine. But yeah, it was really good. All right, cool. So here's what we got for tonight. So, stand-up. KG was thinking stand-up comedy. So in tech, there's something called the stand-up meeting, and basically what you do is it's very developer-y. So programmers don't like to do meetings; they like to code. And so in tech, what was developed several years ago was the idea of let's not do meetings. Let's break down meetings into its core to get the nugget of what an actual meeting is and cut out all the small talk so we can all get back to work, right? Because if you actually do the math on how much money it costs per employee in a big company to go to, if you have an all hands meeting and there's 50 people there and you're doing this meeting and it takes several hours, well, it's not several hours, it's several hours multiplied by the number of people in the room. So that's how much the meeting cost you, right? I mean, it really makes sense. So I said, let's just break it down. What do you need to know? What is the core nugget of it? So a stand-up is meant to be a stand-up, meaning you're supposed to stand. So if you get tired, you've been doing this too long. Like that's how it got the name stand-up. So you stand up together, kind of like a water cooler thing. And you basically, everyone goes around the room and says, here's what I did yesterday. Here's what am doing today. Here are the things in my way, right? Yesterday I got this done, I got that done, and I got this done. Today I'm continuing to work on this. I have to call this person and I have to deliver this to this person. The thing that's standing in my way, I can't do this one thing because I'm waiting for Barbara to give me something, right? And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, so Barbara needs to give this. Like you start to figure out like pieces of what needs to happen. And so that's basically what the stand-up is. Ray just says stand-ups and ops 15 minutes. Yep, that's it. How'd you do yesterday? Today's goal and back to work. Always start with a safety topic and success story. Yep, we don't worry about safety topics and success stories. We just jump in. We actually do something called parking lot. So we jump in, we do our stand-up. How'd you do yesterday? Today's goal, basically. We also do blockers, like what is standing in my way, just bottlenecks, just in case there needs to be a connection. And then we have something called parking lot. And parking lot is exactly that. It's like you left the office and you're all, that point where you leave the office or you leave the movie theater or the restaurant and everyone hangs out in the parking lot for a minute. That's kind of it. So if you want to do the water cooler thing for a couple minutes or bring up something, usually it's related to the stand-up. Like if you're like, yeah, I'm working on this. I'm working on this project. I'm working on the cover to Origin Comic #1. I've got some questions, but I'll save that for parking lot, right? And then parking lot can come up and I'll say, yeah, so it's parking lot. So I just have some questions. Let me show you the cover. What do you guys think? Should I move this over here? Okay, cool. Thank you. Like it's just a way to get instant feedback on something you're working on. It still shouldn't take too long. If it takes longer than just like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, then honestly, it should be scheduled for a meeting. And sometimes if we find going down a rabbit hole, like if we start talking about marketing or design or something and it gets too deep, then you just say, not the place for it. Let's schedule. This sounds like we need a meeting for this. Let's put a workshop together or let's schedule a meeting for later. And that's kind of how it keeps everything moving. Because the truth is we talk all day to each other. You know what I mean? I mean, Dusty and I are on Zoom calls pretty much all day, oftentimes, and that also helps too, right? Like he's working on stuff. I'm working on stuff. Melissa's in Discord and she's doing stuff. Flint's always doing stuff. So I'm picking up the phone or Zooming with him all the time. So you still get those bigger meetings, but it's more like a co-working meeting as opposed to like everybody in a room and everybody's bored and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to do meetings. I don't know if I could. I've done it for so long now. I don't know if I could do it like a traditional meeting.
We could maybe take up Regis's suggestion there and do a little bit of a safety topic, do a little bit of like calisthenics or yoga or
Yeah, what's a
something like
safety
that.
topic? What is a well, I mean, everybody, welcome to stand up. Please fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah. Hold your wrists in the proper location when typing, right?
Yes, right. MK, what's up? Lurking, working, got you in the background. I love it. I love it. Welcome, MK. So yeah, it's just I love stand-up. Stand-ups are great. Oh, Ray just says stretch and flex before work. Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow morning we're gonna do a stretch and flex.
Get ready, bro. I'm showing you some yoga. some Todd yoga. You haven't lived till you see we've done a meeting with me in Downward Dog.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
'Twas the end of stand-up. Oh man. All right. So check this out. I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna talk about a couple things tonight. I want to address and talk about some maybe tweaks and changes, a little bit of modifications to how we're going to do the character rollout, and in the next character drop or the next character visioning, some tweaks we're going to do to that as well. So basically, there's some good chatter in general. Carrots, you had some great points and some great questions, and there's a few things to think about. So first, on the topic of rolling the character and being able to get the attributes in the right place, like girl with a tail, cat tail, right? It was a brilliant, maybe unintended, but it was actually a brilliant example, because in Midjourney, specific things are easy, like red hair, right? If you use that as a prompt, female with red hair, like it just, I guess maybe the reference points are so deep that it knows that women have hair, or this woman will have hair, and therefore that hair will be the color red. But woman with a cat tail is little more undefined, to the point where it doesn't know if it's holding a cat or the cat tail is floating, or if it's, we saw one where the ponytail was actually a cat tail. It doesn't know to put cat tail on the butt. And I don't know if you said put the cat tail on the butt, might not actually give you what you think. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? It's not a normal prompt. So it doesn't, like, it's not a common term. And so it was actually a really good test. And so what we're thinking about doing is right now, just to immediately solve the problem, because it is an issue, and I get it. And I want this to be fun for everybody. It really should be fun and easy, honestly. And we're going to give you some more. I'm going to give you some more stuff that's going to make it fun and easy for sure. But I think for now, like, do your best to follow the prompt. Like if the prompts say something like red hair, or, thin, or if it's a physical trait, I think Midjourney could probably get it. But regardless, don't worry about the prompt, right? We will start adjusting prompts later. I'll talk to the winners of this round, and we'll make sure that everyone's happy, and we'll work it out. But don't worry about it. Like, what the most important thing is that we roll characters that and most important, are fun to make, because they're really, once you get it, it's so fun. I'm having a blast. It's really fun to make, and it should be the characters should be cool. Like, that's it. Like, if you're having fun and the characters are dope, we can figure out the rest. Okay, so that's the first thing. I don't want you to worry about style and all that. I'm going to take care of that. And I'll show you tonight what we have. I'm going to share something that I've had for a minute, and I was debated whether I should share it, but I'm like, yeah, I'm going to share it. So that's the first thing. Don't worry so much about the prompts. Just roll cool characters. And I know that begs the question of, like, well, how do I roll a cool character? This is hard. I'm going to take care of that for you as well. And then, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The other issue that kind of came up or was raised, and this is very good, and I'm glad everyone brought this up, was that, there's a question about quality control because of so many variant styles, right? You've got some people rolling Midjourney AIs, and then you've got some people hand drawing stuff. How is this going to work? Like, is it going to drop quality? Is the quality going to change? Like, and then of course, is Todd going to do stuff? Like, how is this going to work? And so there's a couple things in this point, and a part of it is I'm trying to explain how it's going to look, and it's hard because I can't give you an example, like a visual example yet. I will soon, but I don't have one at the moment, right? So I know when I explain it, it's like I don't really get it. So the first thing is trust the process. Like, you got to trust the process. We have we ever dropped anything so far that has been anything less than top quality? I know we don't bat 1,000, no one's perfect, but have we pushed anything out there that wasn't to the best of our ability? Right? The answer is no. And like, there is no way that anything subpar or patchy or stylistically confusing, it won't go. Like, we're going to take care of that. Okay. So the way that we're going to do this is a couple of things. So basically, whether you're drawing it by hand or digital, whatever, if you're drawing it, or whether you're rolling a character in Midjourney, we're going to meet in the middle, and basically we're going to use that as an inspiration for the final art that I'm going to do. Okay? So everyone's going to get credit. You're going to get credit for designing the character if you design the character. You get credit for writing the bio if you wrote the bio. You're going to get credit for the attributes if you worked on the attributes and the naming. We'll call it like crafting or something. I don't know. I can't think of the word right now, but concept. Thank you. So you're gonna get the credit for doing it. Concept, design, either bio or writing or something like that. Like, we're gonna that will be there. But then we're going to sync up the style and meet in the middle so that every single card looks like it belongs to the same set. So it doesn't matter if someone rolls something that's realistic or rolls something that's more painterly or more whatever, a different style in Midjourney, and someone else draws in a style that's their own natural drawing style. It's not going to be like an unmatched set, right? We're going to meet in the middle, and then we're going to, again, use that as inspiration, and then I'm going to do the final artwork. So it's going to tie everything together. Like I said, I want this to be fun, and I want this to be playful, and I want you guys to have a blast, and I want you to win the rewards and win the contest so we can take part, so we can all share in the rewards that doing a mint can bring to everybody. Especially because I believe that next year is going to be really hard for people, right? Like the whole world. So I want us to do everything we can to kind of share the wealth and grow together. So basically, the way it's going to be is if you're drawing, no worries, you're already good. Draw your thing to the best of your ability. Make sure that we can see the costume. You know what I mean? Like, if make sure that I know what the character is going to look like. The front is always going to be more important than the back. Gotta say, if I don't know what the front of the character looks like, I'll either have to ping you and find out or whatever. So make sure that you're showing as much of the character as you can, and you're good. If you can draw, that's all you need. Like, you don't need any of the other instructions or the workbooks. Although I will say, using Midjourney, and this is coming from me, right? Like, meaning someone that's been doing this for a long time. Like I use Midjourney now. It's instantly become something that I use, just like Photoshop, right? Meaning, even if I'm not using it as a final character design, because I can draw characters, just using it to roll characters to see like what random costume designs it comes up with. Dude, sometimes the costume designs that Midjourney comes up with are incredibly inspiring and badass. So if you have access to Midjourney, even if you're a traditional artist, I highly recommend rolling Midjourney just to get inspired by maybe the pose or maybe the costume style, right? You might find something in there that's like, oh, that piece is really cool. I'm going to use that over here, right? Talk to Avery from War Games. Like, he loves that stuff, man. He absolutely loves it, And I absolutely get it. So that's the first thing. So if you're drawing and you draw traditionally, you're good to go. All you got to do is just post and you're fine. If you are drawing or creating via Midjourney, then just roll it via Midjourney and don't worry about the prompt. Just have fun and come up with a cool looking character that would kind of fit in your mind, would kind of fit in adult fantasy. And what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go through it a little bit tonight, I'm actually going to provide a cookbook. I've made this for myself, and I real honestly debated whether I was going to share it, but I'm totally going to share it. So I'll provide a cookbook with all of the formulas that work, all of it. Like, you're not going to have to do research. You just pick and choose and pick and choose. And believe me, there's plenty to choose from. It's infinite, right? I'm going to give you plenty of stuff. And then we're going to use that as inspiration again for the work. And that way you will have a standardized thing, in a standardized I don't know what you call it, like a standardized style inside of the collection, right? And so that's pretty much how it'll go, if that makes sense. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense. And what I want to do, we're going to do some Midjourney stuff tonight because I want to show you how this stuff works. But before we do that, I actually want to show you the cookbook. But let me know if you have questions. Is there anything else I should cover, Dusty, before I jump into the cookbook? I think that
Yeah, one thing that I just wanted to kind of bring up a little bit is that it may not always be readily apparent how much work we're putting in behind the scenes and how much we go through and strategize on everything we do. So, we've thought very, very hard about this, and like Todd said, don't question the quality, because everything will maintain the quality standards we already have, and everything's been planned very thoroughly.
Yeah, you guys have seen the guide just to how to do this stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, we thought a lot about it. It doesn't mean it's perfect, right? As we said at the beginning, there's gonna be stuff for us to tweak because we've never, until you do it live, it's impossible to know how things go. You know what I mean? But that's why. I said. KG says, "Can you share how the character will be judged?"
Yeah, absolutely, KG. In the Midjourney handbook or the travel guide, and we can bring it up as well. We currently have the judging worksheets for the naming and attributes as well as the biography, and we're still developing the one for the artwork. But yeah, those are publicly available, and we can help point you to them.
Yeah, for sure. We will have the actual. I'm going to pull up the guide really quick. Where are you? Get over it. Okay, cool. I'm going to share my screen over here. Okay, so this is the Gravesend travel guide. And I know it's a little small on screen. Let me see if I can get this bigger. I don't know if I can. All right, that works. Cool. So, and I know we don't. Yeah, like Dusty just said, like we'll have the actual judging component here very, very soon. And I know we're running a little behind on that, so appreciate the wait. But what you can do is when you go into creating using Midjourney AI, if you go down and you start looking at the examples with the no versus, here, let me see if I can, now I need it smaller. So these are examples of things that are good and bad. So no, because there's no head, no major retouching, and her right hand's on backwards. We're going to change a little bit of that because we're not going to need to do retouching. But the same applies. No, not in a comic style, right? It doesn't have a full body. So I don't even know what her legs would look like or her waist. It's too much. This is acceptable. I wish it was a little more. I wish it was higher up, but there is pretty decent information there. Maybe possibly acceptable. There's a lot of retouching needed to do. So, we're just kind of giving examples after examples, and we'll update these as we go. But basically, you can use these as a basic guide for now to see what is pretty cool, right? Like, basically the cooler the shot, the easier it is to visualize as a card, right? So what I'd like to do, and again, this is where I'm going to describe something that doesn't exist. So it may be a little hard to imagine, but what this is good for, what Midjourney is really good for, is shortcutting the process of design, meaning it's going to give you ideas for design and it's going to create a design if you don't have that technical skill. But from an artist standpoint, like it gives me the benefit of quickly choosing like a better pose or something that's cooler. So we can actually start to use a little more close-up poses that maybe have a little more comic detail into it, as opposed to like Adult Fantasy S1. Doesn't mean we're getting rid of that Adult Fantasy S1 style. It means we can start to do both in different contexts and different ways, right? It's good to experiment. It's really good to see what people like. So I don't want you guys to overthink it. I just want, throw out a cool character. And if it looks like a card, if it looks like a character card, you're probably in good shape. Again, I'll show you an example. So these are, it's so weird that I have these right here. I don't even know why, but like, look, I'll just pull out a random stack of cards from 1990 something. I'll just pull out a random stack of cards that I've had since 1993. It's fine. Everything's good here. So X-Men Series 2, like, right? You have enough of the character to kind of tell what the character might look like, right? Here's a Hazard or something. So you can see like, oh, look, he's got almost a full body there, right? So if I had nothing else, if I had to do a Hazard comic book, okay, if this was the company I was working for and I had to draw this character and I said, great, send me an image of what this guy looks like so I can draw him, and all they did was send me this card, I probably would have enough to do most of the book. I could kind of make up the rest. MK says X-Men cards for the win. Yeah, man, hardcore. There's old school White Queen. Again, totally easy to get. You totally understand it, right? Do I know what her legs and feet look like? No, but I can pretty much figure it out. Yeah. Especially since we own it. You know what I mean? Like we can kind of make it up. There's Sunspot Classic, right? So what I'm trying to get at is I'd love to start doing a little more, not necessarily, they don't have to be super poses like this yet, right? Just because of time. But a pose like you have on the screen where it's a little more action posed, we absolutely can do, right? And so why not experiment with it? Why not see if we can do that? So that's what I'm trying to experiment with. And again, in terms of how it's going to look, don't worry about it. I'm going to make it look great, right? It might not be the same pose that you give me, like that you roll. Like if you roll this, that's dope. Maybe I keep that pose and kind of just change it and make it like more of like my style or more of like an adult fantasy style. Maybe we keep the pose, right? Or maybe I'm like, well, maybe the pose is a little wonky and, I come up with another pose, but it's your character, right? So it's going to be a play, but everything will be in alignment, I promise. Does that make sense? And KG, that's a great question. I'm gonna put that on our to-do list to make sure we nail that out by the end of the week for you. So it's true. We're a little behind on that. All right. Does that make sense? Anyone have any questions about this so far? So there's no problem, no worries. Feel free. Like I said, at the end of the day, I want to make this as fun as humanly possible. Like the whole team, we just want to make it as fun as possible and give everybody a really fun, easy way to win some really good rewards. You know what I mean? There's a really cool prize and we want you guys to win. So you got to play. That's kind of how it works. This is how we stay away from getting in trouble with large government entities. So, we're doing our best. Let me know if you guys have any problems with that or questions. And in the meantime, I'm going to jump over because the tab is right here. So when we started working on Midjourney, I'm a huge documentary person. Like I document everything. To the team, I can think the team gets that. I'm pretty detail oriented. I try to be anyway. And so I didn't want to forget all these cool roles. So I just wrote down everything that worked, right? And I went through like everything. And there I learned that, at least with my personal experience, yours may vary. I don't know how the AI completely determines what to do, but at least for my user account, my account, there were certain art styles that worked like almost all the time, and there were certain art styles that never worked. No idea why. Totally should have. Google search is there, but they just didn't. It didn't work. AI just didn't recognize what I was trying to do. So I created a cookbook specifically for Midjourney. And so I'm going to show you the Midjourney cookbook, and keep this between us. You know what I'm saying? There are other look, sidebar. There are tons now. I'm just going to say it. We were the first. I think we were the first. If not, we're the first. We're damn near close to the first. To my knowledge, we were the first people to start using Midjourney and start using AI. We're definitely going to be the first that are using it in this way. But since then, and Dusty can attest to this, like all of a sudden we're seeing like a lot of other projects that you know and love. I'm not going to mention names because you might not even know about it yet. But a lot of other projects are starting to use Midjourney, and they're also using writer rooms all of a sudden. It's really interesting how this stuff works. Am I right, Dusty?
Yeah, I've done thousands of roles on Midjourney now. Like I do it all night and all day and everything. And so you start to get an eye for it. And I'll be on Twitter and there's some promo art for this project, or there's this new drop for that project. And there's a lot of Midjourney art out there now.
And there's a
Popping
lot of
up more and more.
And there's a lot of projects that are like, we want to bring the community into what we're doing. So we're going to have a
Yes.
writer's room and we're going to use AI.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, you guys go for it. I know Adult Fantasy is like, we're not like a huge name, but there's a lot of projects that know about us now. You see it every night when we do Evening Alpha with interviews. I'm telling you, man, like we're ahead of the curve. It's amazing how we can do something and then like a week or two or a month later, everybody else is starting to do it. Just saying, right? In fact, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Dusty, literally yesterday, 2 days ago, I've been doing the last couple of weeks as I'm working on everything else is starting to plan the next phase. And as we roll into Q4 and 2023, like all the stuff that we're going to be releasing and how it's going to work. And it's a ton. And that's why it takes a lot of work, because I don't want the team to be overloaded, and I don't want you guys to be overloaded, like with the stuff how much stuff we could possibly be releasing. So it has to be planned out. And anyway, I revealed this to Dusty. I said, hey, Dusty, do you mind being my, what did Melissa call it, Dusty? Idea
partner in thought or something?
Thought partner?
Thought partner? Yeah, thought partner.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm an official thought partner now, guys. Yes.
That's like the intern for a thought leader or something. Like a thought partner. It's a better one. A thought partner is very nice.
Yes.
So Dusty became my thought partner, and I showed him a map. I drew it out and I said, here's what I'm planning, and I walked through it. And since then, and granted, this is internal, but the stuff that we're doing right now, we already have planned, along with the stuff that we're planning. Dusty, is it true that you were saying, like, you came back and you were like, yo, like all of a sudden I'm seeing in my feed, people are talking about how to solve the thing that we're kind of solving internally?
Yeah, and this isn't the first thing. This happens quite regularly. We talk about something, and then maybe 2 months later, Twitter's caught up, and now Twitter's talking about, ooh, someone should be doing this, and we're already doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
It is.
J-Ross says, I'm using the shish kebab out of Midjourney for character concepts. Yeah, man, it's addictive. It's really fun. He says, I was so confused why everyone's art entries look similar in style. That's when I asked about it in the AF Discord. I hated it. Then I became a closet user. You can have, that's the cool thing, and I'm going to show you guys tonight. Like, you can have any style you want, right? It doesn't have Midjourney does not have a style, right? It has preferences, but it doesn't have a style. It does the style that you put in. The reason that you see why Midjourney has quote unquote a style is because what happens is someone will do a really cool render and it'll trend on Midjourney, and you can see everybody's prompts. So people will start copy pasting the prompts and just changing one or two things, and all of a sudden you'll have a feed of stuff, all amazing stuff, but it all kind of looks the same, right? And I've done this a couple times where I'll visit their Discovery channel, which is like their big showcase feed, and I'll copy paste the prompt and test it on my own, because you want to test prompts, like that's cool. And then I'll just won't look at the feed for like a couple of weeks, and then I'll come back and it'll be a completely different style, and I'll start testing different. It'll be a completely different prompt. So it's like an ebb and flow. So it's really cool. And I'm going to show you tonight how to choose a style. Now we are going to have, because I'm giving you guys a cookbook, it's going to have a adult fantasy style, but within that, it's going to be pretty open. And I'll show you what I mean. KG is laughing at the thought partner concept. Thought partner sounds like you're in Minority Report. Pretty true. It is. Oh, there you go, thought partner. And we're gonna go. That's even better. That's true adult fantasy right there. Carrot says, I've been using DALL-E as well. It does crazy things with photorealistic art, but doesn't have some of the easy use of Midjourney. Yeah, there's a lot of Midjourney artists, like people who are trying to focus in Midjourney, which I totally get. They're basically, so Midjourney, I'm going to show you tonight, but Midjourney has some test settings that make faces better. But generally speaking, Midjourney is really hard on faces and hands. And so what a lot of people are doing is they're generating their image inside of Midjourney, and then they're using either DALL-E, and they'll try to get the hands and face better, or there's some other AI GANs that'll render out faces and hands, right? So people are starting to use these collage mechanisms across all these different platforms. It's really cool, man. I mean, there's already Stable Diffusion, which is kind of like I guess the grandfather of Midjourney. I don't know if Midjourney is a fork of the project, but I think they share some of the same code. But Stable Diffusion, someone already has built a plugin for Photoshop. So you can be using your Photoshop. If you're using Photoshop all day, Stable Diffusion is now in Photoshop. So it's just a tool, man. You know, it's really cool. It's going to be really cool. You know, it's the same thing. Not to go on a too big of a tangent, but like I remember back in the day when like people were shitting on Photoshop because of its airbrush capability and the fact that you can make some really cool photorealistic things in Photoshop. And all the airbrush artists and all the sculptors, like people were freaking the hell out. They hated it, and now they all use it. You know what I mean? Like it just takes time, and people have to get over the fear of technology. You know, use it for what it's good for. You know, if you get too dependent on it, you're probably not that original. You know, it's all about style. All right, let's pop into Midjourney Cookbook. I'm going to show you some stuff. Midjourney Cookbook. So this is the Midjourney Cookbook. I will blow it up so you can see it, but you can see it's like pretty detailed. This it doesn't look that long, but believe me, like if you saw what it took to get this, man, holy crap. So this is between us. Don't share this, okay? Say that, and it's like going on YouTube. Don't share this. It's top secret. All right. So at the top, this whole core prompt element section. This stuff is already in the guide. This is the basic structure: art style, body pose, modifiers, faces, sex, weapons. Like you can pretty much get the idea here. So art styles, because this is like, you know, these are all things I've tested. These are all the ones that worked, I should say. So you don't have to know the people. In fact, it's kind of fun if you don't know these artists or these prompts, like maybe you test it out. Roll it, and then if you like the style, go research it, like learn about the artist. Like that would make my heart happy, you know. Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, comic art, not just the name, because you know you have to be specific. Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Walt Simonson, Ed McGuinness, that's a great one. Barry Windsor Smith, Mike Mignola, blah 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 blah. We've got some classic people like Jordy Bernay, Joe Kubert, Mobius. We've got Akira Manga. We've got some stuff like some Japanese artists. We even have some like anime stuff like Neon Genesis Evangelion, right? So you can use these things to kind of get colors and styles, right? What was it? There's some other stuff in here. Robotech. I might have to add a couple things in here because there's some things in here that we can add. I know it's in here though. This one's a main one. You'll see this art by Artgerm or painted by Artgerm. You'll see that in tons of, like, Artgerm is a guy. He's been around for a while. He's a comic painter, but he's really good. He's like a photorealistic comic painter, but he's got like an anime style. It's really, really original. And so like all the ones that you see here that are kind of the same, like everyone discovered Artgerm, which is pretty fun. I love that. This guy has probably no idea that there's like 1.5 million people that are like in love with his style, trying to use it in Midjourney. That's a really cool thing. Let's see. KG says all the image artists for sure. What I've been using. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Definitely. Body pose. So we've got dynamic pose. Also, like, I added Jim Lee dynamic pose because that's an actual cat. Like, you can actually look that up. And Jim Lee's a comic artist, for those that don't know, big 90s. It's actually funny. Midjourney's idea of what Jim Lee does is almost like comical, right? Like it almost has, like, if I thought it had a brain, I would say that it like likes to poke fun and make fun of Jim Lee, because it makes a Jim Lee character just like way over what Jim Lee would do. It's like just super, like, muscles that have baby muscles, like it's like your muscle gave birth to another muscle. Like it's really funny. Comic book dynamic fighting poses, comic book pose, standing 3/4, complete figure. You can't say, it's very hard to say full figure, because if you say full figure, like you want head to toe, well, if you Google full figure, that's a shape of a person, right? Like big boned. So it's like, it's very difficult. So complete figure sometimes does a good job. Usually it does a good job at like showing at least 75% of it. Faces, if you want, we talked about this the other day. This is just example stuff, right? But you can pick whoever you want as just celebrity or musician or artist or whoever. You just want to make sure that it's not someone completely recognizable. I would make combinations. You don't want to have like Snoop Dogg's face on a character, because we'd have to change it. You know what I mean? So obviously we can't do it. Modifiers are what are going to make the character super original. Great ones for me. I love pinup art, adding pinup art, because if you look up pinup art from like the 50s and 60s, they always have great poses, right? Really great shapes. There's people leaning back, they're leaning forward, they're posing. So it's kind of like, it's like hoping that that the AI will show you that style. 1990s X-Force art, and 1990s X-Men comics, 1990s Marvel's comics almost always works. Meaning you're going to get something that has belts and buckles. If you do 1990s X-Men comics, you're going to get like a lot of yellow and blue sometimes, because that was the costume color. So you'll learn how to kind of balance the stuff out. Body armor, laser cannon weapon, cell shading, beautiful, cute women. That stuff matters. Handsome man, beautiful woman, like, let it know what you want. Things like pronounced chest. You can't say like big boobs, right? Or big butt, I think. So I put that in there. I've never actually used it, but it is something that people do use to try to define a character shape, like a trait. Also, 1990s Image Comics, 1990s Extreme Studios, if you want to go the Rob Liefeld route. Also, things like World of Warcraft or Leagues of Legends or Overwatch. That kind of stuff really matters. That stuff is hot. And so there's a lot of internet imagery on it. And you can get some cool costumes, man, by just putting in League of Legends or Overwatch. And so I've also done you one more. I've actually given you some examples. These are like private stock. These are my favorite roles. Okay. And so the other thing you're going to want to do is when you roll these, you can change whatever you want. It's not a problem. I actually start with this and then I go in and I change stuff. Right. So these are kind of like examples, but these are artists that work, names that work. So you're going to get something, you still are going to get roles sometimes that you're like, why are these bodies stacked on top of each other? But it looks like they accidentally went through that that like blending time machine thing that the Fly had. You know what I'm talking about? But basically, you can use these as an example, and then you can start to expand out and swap out artist and swap out. Just go back up here to artist and body pose and modifier and start switching stuff out. Also, always just go for it. I'm going to show you how to do this tonight. Always use the aspect ratio 2:3 because that's the card, right? Just always make sure you're using 2:3 because that's a good card shape, and that way you're going to have the right amount of space in your roll. I've also given you some testing things. Prompt weights meaning you can add like a prompt weight, which says in this one AI is going to push Penguin weight 1.5 and Jim Lee Marvel comic art 1.0. Well, 1.0 is the baseline, so you don't really need that. But in this example, it's going to push a little more towards Penguin Warrior when it looks to bring something in, right? I've also included some render helpers. These are for fun. Don't include these in the submissions. These are some things that like give you that crazy like stock Midjourney look, right? It looks super cool, very realistic, looks like a game asset, right? But not in an adult fantasy style. But if you want to play with it, like these are like sort of the top things that people use. And then I also included As a Master of Universe, Kenner Marvel Legends action figure, just some things to play with. I think actually I need to get rid of this and just add this back into here. It's kind of like the same stuff. And then I just added some fine artists if you want to play around and just have fun. But we're gonna jump into a little bit tonight. Time is already flying, but that's good. I'll jump in tonight. I'll show you some roles just so you can kind of test it. And then we're gonna make this public so you guys will have access to it. J. Ross says you should try the Wanish keyword in Midjourney. Thank me later. Oh, no. Oh, you know, okay. I don't know how to answer that, man. KG says no luck with the 3/4. Seems to show waist up mostly. Okay, fair enough. You know, it takes what it takes. That's why you just kind of like it. Sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. So let's do this. Let's do this one. Ed McGuinness comic art, Katsuhiro Tomo comic art, Art Adams comic art, blah blah blah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change screens so you can see this, and we're going to do Discord. All right, and I'm in the Foundry. Love seeing you guys playing with this stuff. So image, imagine. I'm just going to copy paste. Oh, you know what I needed to show you? Okay, so this is the other thing I need to show you real quick. So if I do slash, and I know, can you read that? No, let me pull this up just a little bit so you can read this. All right, there we go. So if you look, I'm doing slash settings. If you do settings, it's going to give you the what?
Oh, we rolled that as a prompt, so it's just slash settings.
Okay, that's great, cool. Settings.
It'd be interesting to see what that becomes.
I know. So if I just type in slash settings and it says view and adjust your personal settings, I come in here, it's going to give me the settings for Midjourney, right? Most of this is normal, okay? Style, medium, base quality, relaxed mode, regular upscale, public mode. All of that is normal. I choose relaxed mode. You can also choose fast mode. But I prefer relaxed just because it saves, because I go through the fast mode real too fast. Although tonight I'm going to do fast since we're doing the demo. But notice that I have it on MJ test. MJ test from my personal testing is the best. It gives you the best rolls. So don't worry about version 1 is the first version. Version 2, version 3 is sort of the normal version everybody uses right now. So like if you just roll stuff, I think it's just version 3. But set it to MJ test because it's pretty good. Why is this settings? That makes no sense to me. Anyway. All right, Midjourney, whatever you say. So I'm going to go to prompt. I'm going to throw my stuff down there. So I'm using MJ test. I have my AR2 to 3. I'm going to roll it. It's set to fast. So it's going to roll. It probably has to wait till this thing is finished. Yeah, it's already going. And we shall see. By the way, how funny is it that the other night we did this on Monday, and like we were trying to roll a character and I couldn't get it. And then like the minute we turned the character off, I was like, let me just roll another character. And it like turned out awesome.
Yeah.
It turned out so cool. I was like, it's got a cat head. It's so badass. Okay, so you see how awesome this already is? I know it's a 35% and it could completely change and it's going to ruin my day. Oh, yeah, her leg is all busted and backwards. There you go. But still, it's actually like already a better rendered looking character than we had the other night, right? Just again, this is because I've tested so much stuff, but like, let's see, it still looks pretty booty, but it already looks like more like a comic character though. All right, while that's going on, I'm going to do another one because we can roll a couple at the same time here. I'm going to roll it again. And while that's doing, I'm actually going to roll 2 more. I'm going to go ahead and roll each one because I got some examples up here. Let's see if we can get lucky and get a super awesome one just on our first roll. These prompts. Yeah, that's giving me a double stack right there. Usually when it starts off with a double stack, it's going to keep going with a double stack. Oh, it changed. That's cool. Venture Brothers male. I've got 2 males and I've got 2 female examples in these prompts. So we're just going to roll the prompts. Get out of there. These are, oops. Oh, that's cute. Right on. Ooh, that's cool looking. Look at that. Look at that. That's the problem. I was heads cut off. Oh, you're killing me, Midjourney. Sometimes like when it's like 20 or 30%, it looks so cool. And then like when it finishes, it just looks like total what? Oh, it's such a cool character. You're not giving me a head, Midjourney. Oh, that one's cool too. Oh, it's cutting the head off of that one too. Son of a bitch. All right, so let's see. We got one. So this one, she looks like she's hurting. She looks like she's in pain. You know what? Let's try to do a version of her, a V1, and I'm going to re-roll it just to see what's up. And this one also is a booty. It did a stack. This one up here looks kind of cool. What? Oh, that's sick. We got one. Look at that.
Yeah, so good.
Let's see. Oh, it is giving me a head. That one looks great too. This one, oh man. Oh, snap, dude. Look at this. Look at that. See what I'm saying, guys? Come on, man. Tell me that doesn't look cool as hell. What is it doing with the hands? It's so crazy. What? Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's see what we got. Let's go. Let's check. Okay, so this is almost done. All right, so we got this one. That's not so good. The legs are cool. I mean, it's just not that great. It got the head cut off, and she's like, there's like standing on a body or something. I don't know. Oh shit, that looks cool. Look at that guy. So do you guys see how, like, again, I use Midjourney a lot to find these prompts that just kind of work. Doesn't work all the time, but it has a better chance. Also, I swear to you, the secret is that testing version and settings. It makes a world of difference. Okay. Let me know, chat. Does this kind of make sense? Is this looking better now? All right, let's see. We got to look at this guy or girl. That looks great. Right? Again, is it perfect? No, but it doesn't need to be, because we're going to use it as reference and just kind of use it as an inspiration for final work. Right? Like, that's perfect. If you think that this is a character that you think is dope and is like, yeah, that looks like an AF character, submit it. This is a little dash of Hiroaki Samura, who is the artist behind Blades of the Immortal, which is one of my all-time favorite books, favorite manga, and Paul Smith, who's a classic Marvel artist. So it has this weird little human thing, and that's painted by Artgerm because I wanted to flush it out with a little bit of 3D rendering. Or, you don't have to have it painted by Artgerm. In fact, some of these other, I think that's the only one that I have painted by that guy. And then this one didn't turn out too well, but the colors you can see is a very comic book style, right? This one turned out great. The face is a little messed up. It's not really there, but that costume is fantastic.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like, it really nailed it, right?
It did, yeah.
And this is actually a dash of Venture Brothers. So this is Venture Brothers art style, Art Adams comic art, male body pose, standing 3/4. I agree with you, KG. Like, I've never gotten an actual 3/4 when he's standing, but I probably should remove that. You're probably right. I probably should just say standing and not standing 3/4, because that might be why I'm only getting some close-ups. That's actually a good idea. But that looks great, man. Anatomy's all right. Most of the body's there. The head is a little chopped off, but we can make it up, right? We can have fun with it. If this qualifies, it's awesome. It's a cool looking character. It's a design. It's even a great pose. Honestly, if this turned in, like, if this was the character, honestly, like, I just basically keep the pose and redraw it and clean it up. You know what I mean? And like add some hair or something, or a helmet or whatever. Maybe there was something in the prompt I could use, and then you'd have a character. Like, that's actually pretty anatomically correct and looks great. Here's another one. This one was more Ed McGuinness and Katsuhiro Otomo. I've gotten some good results. This one's a little weird. Her arm is a little broken, and the head was cut off. But the costume style is actually pretty cool. That's actually interesting. Not the best though. And then we got Broken Leg Woman over here. That one was a little bit of a mess. What's her superpower? Well, she's broken. Cool. And this one's just hilarious, man. Like, that's just crazy. Like, that's just awesome. That's pretty funny. Look at it. It's got a big floppy hands and a giant.
Hey, he'd be called the Tickler.
Ooh, the tickle. Look at that. His name is like his Badoo. The amazing Badoo Buxy. Badoo Buxy. That's his real name. Badoo Buxy. And that's also Venture Brothers in there. Right? So if you want to do the Venture Brothers route, go for it. This is one that's like more comic art. Look how sick that is, dude.
That's so good.
That's like legit. Like, I mean, some weirdness on with the leg, but not really. Like, that's pretty fixable. And all of a sudden, like, I mean, honestly, like, I just take that up. I could clean it up a little bit, clean some stuff up, draw it. I'd be redrawing all of these, right? I'll be redrawing all of these. But that one anatomically is like, okay, looks great. Like, why mess up something that looks good? Fix up some of the bits of the anatomy and roll it out, and it's pretty good to go, right? MK Chronos, he says. Makes sense. Do follow cookbook. Don't add modifier in the style of human centipede. Now you're just tempting me, dude. I think I have to roll that just to see what it would come up with. I know the reference. Ooh, here's another Ed McGuinness. That one looks great. Look at that, dude. Right? Okay, so her leg down here is messed up, but this totally qualifies. This is totally fine. Again, I could take this leg. We could take this drawing right now. I could draw that character, like fix some of the anatomy, and move that leg down so she would just stand there maybe with her arms behind her back like a drill sergeant or something, right? Like, we can fix all that stuff. I might even be able to use some of those cool little highlights and stuff. Like, that's pretty cool. Does that make sense, guys? So it's just about having fun. And I know that there was a little bit of a holy shit. Look at that, dude. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a sick ass. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, some of these may become cards because that is sick. That's dope. That is freaking awesome. I could absolutely make that a killer card, man. That's freaking dope.
Yeah.
That's freaking good. That's really, what is this? This is also Ed McGuinness. Ed McGuinness is a magic name. Ed McGuinness, Katsuhiro Tomo, Art Adams, 1990s X-Force art, body armor, laser cannon weapons, female body pose, beautiful, cute woman, cute face, standing black hair, just ignored it. Detailed costume, pinup art, original comic art. You see what I mean? Like, look at this. We just did some simple rolls. I got 1, I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 awesome rolls out of that, out of like 8. MK says, yeah, Ray just says, dig that one. Yeah, man. Like, look at that. Let's see. Look how good that is. Like, you know, like I could fix up the neck, like that weird thing that's coming out of the bottom of her neck. Like on the side, on this side, it looks cool. On this side, it's like a little long. So you just move it up and kind of fix it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Like this is about saving some time and coming up with cool things. I'm going to redraw all of this stuff because it's all got to kind of fit the same universe. But the background is there. The colors are there. Awesome. Let's do it. You know, let's not overthink it. You know?
Yeah, and I think too, Todd, the thing to remember is that it doesn't have to be perfect, right? We're not looking for perfection. This is inspiration. This is inspiration for Todd to draw the character that you created in his style, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's stuff that, like, this is all the reason why these prompts kind of excite me. One, because they work. I mean, you see, like, out of 8 rolls, 6 of them were dope, as opposed to last night, which none of them were. But on top of that, like, these are really close to my style, right? Like, this is like, I could take this, I mean, it's pretty darn close, you know, like it's all it is like a little more of the comic side, like the Adult Fantasy season 1. I let the colors do all the shadow work. There's not a lot of black, spotting blacks on the art because that's more of a comic style, right? But if I was to add blacks and kind of a little more detail, it would basically look like this, more or less, you know? So these are awesome. Some of these may become cards, man, because these are dope. Yeah, that guy's sick. So it's up to you guys to play with, you know? Do we want to, what do you guys think? Does this make, let's see, it says, yeah, MK said it looked like a Deathstroke bot, which was, it did look like a Deathstroke bot. KG says, these are great, but harder when trying to hit specific attributes. Yeah. So that was something like when we initially tested the attributes, we were doing things with like cute face or red hair, right? And so when it was a physical trait or like thin versus fat or overweight or thick, you know, like maybe just because it was just a debugging error, right? Like we tried to debug and try to do some rolls. And I was like, yeah, this looks like it works. But, and this is part of the experimentation process. It's iterating, right? This is part of the iteration process. It's like, was it Bad Kitty who came up with the cattail?
Yeah, or it came up through the biography contest.
Biography, yeah. So it was super good. It was a kind of a blessing because that you realize when you have something like that, how hard you're like, oh, right. Like Midjourney is not going to know, like it's going to know what a cattail is, but it's not going to know to put it on the butt. You know what I mean? And how do you write that in a way that it's going to know? And then it becomes really difficult. And so that's why we were like, okay, well, let's, you know, come back. We came back to a meeting this morning and we talked about it, you know, several times today, probably for a few hours, just saying, okay, well, let's do the reverse. So next contest, we'll just do the art first. Come up with a character. There's no prompt, no name. Come up with dope character, right? Oh, the leg is busted. That's cool. If the rest, like I said, where's where am I going? Like this character's leg is jacked, right? This is wrong. If your leg looks like this, please go to see a doctor, right? Because that hurts. That's pain.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. The character's dope, and I can move that leg and like fix it, right? When I redraw it, it can fix it. So as long as it's not like, double stacked characters or like completely like, something like that, which is like, it's too busy. I don't know what's going on. The style is not super comic book. It's a little more airbrushy. It's like, right? Same thing with this. Like, you might be able to find some cool stuff out of it, but that is just too much. Like, and it's just nothing, right? But as long as there's some stuff there to work with, we can really get it. And like, if we had a couple of cards and one kind of looked a little more in this style, like a Venture Brothers style, and another one looked like more of like a comic book style, I'm cool with that. That's still the same universe. You know what I mean? You can have two different styles in there. We're going to make it, it's going to be by the same, we're going to bring them together.
Yeah.
So the next contest, we're just going to make cool characters first and worry about the other stuff later. In the meantime, since we've already done the name and we already have the attributes, it's the same rule. Don't worry about it. Just do the cool character and we'll make it fit. We'll make it work. Like, you certainly don't go like, oh, well, we know the character is a female, right? So we know it's a female, so don't make it a male. Like, use your best judgment. If there's something, if you roll the character and it's a cool character and you read the attribute, the bio and the attribute, and it's completely different, then that's going to be really where the judging comes in, right? Like, you don't have to worry about the amulet. You don't have to worry about the cattail. We'll probably have to modify some of that for this first run, just on the visual stuff. But just read the attitude of the character from the bio and see if that kind of fits the coolness of the character. Because again, we just rolled like 6 dope characters. You're not going to have a problem rolling really cool looking characters. The problem is going to come when you're like, which one do I put in?
Yeah.
I promise you, right? Then it's like, damn, these are so like I wouldn't know what to put in. Like this, if it was a female character, like would I put in this one or would I put in this one?
Yeah.
Well, if it's, that's when reading the biography makes a difference, right? So it's like, okay, well, actually, it's a cybernetic, the female cybernetic from a planet, blah, blah, blah. Well, then maybe this one actually fits better, right? So it's just kind of matching to the thing. That's really, honestly, KG, that's going to be the judging, more or less, right?
And I would encourage you all as well, if you roll awesome characters that maybe don't fit this prompt because we're working kind of backwards, save them because you may be able to use them for the next contest.
You absolutely can. Absolutely. There's no rule. Like there's no rule that says you can't reuse. Even one that doesn't win. If you put a dope character in and it doesn't win this round, just save it. Like there's no harm in reusing it. I promise you'll keep rolling and you'll do other things, but you never know when you read a prompt and you're like, dude, this huge muscle-bound character, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, I've got this guy that I rolled and it was huge. And like you might just already have it. And that way you can spend your time playing and having fun. MK says, stupid question. No stupid questions. I hadn't yet rolled to try, but my idea was to do feline humanoid to test if it did standing feline. Oh, feline humanoid to test if it did standing feline character. There's no stupid question there, man. Does it know humanoid is the question. Probably. So the way that we've learned the way that we got these prompts to kind of work was honestly, man, like this is why I showed that document. I'm like, man, the amount of time it took, like the reason it says Ed McGuinness comic art or original comic art and pinup art as opposed to pinups or beautiful, cute woman, like that kind of stuff is because what we think, what it does is basically the way it comes up with this stuff is it does deep Google searches basically, right? It doesn't know anything in its head. It doesn't have like a database. It's pulling in imagery from Google search, most likely, right? That's a guess, but that's pretty much what it's doing. And so because of that, you can go in and you can type in humanoid into Google, Like right now, like let me do this. Let's just do it. I'm gonna just give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Go to Google here. All right. Share my screen. There you go. All right, so let's type in humanoid. And then I'm going to go to images. So this is what it would be looking for. This is what it's going to see, right? So based on what your idea is, this may or may not be perfect, right? Now, you also could put in, like you said, feline human. What'd you say? Feline humanoid. Feline humanoid. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Feline humanoid. Right? So that actually may or may not, like if you see this and you're like, yeah, that's actually kind of the idea that I was looking for, then you can start to really go into it. The other thing you can do is once you get to these pages, you can start to look at like what they actually are calling them. So feline humanoid is a thing, which is cool because that means, you know, this is called feline humanoid. This is called feline humanoid. So it's going to probably be able to find something called a feline humanoid. There's also humanoid cat. So you might want to check out just calling it a humanoid cat. Cat people, although that's more of like, I might qualify as a humanoid. Let's see if there's any other keywords that we can get inspired by. Humanoid feline. So that's basically the same thing. So yeah, it seems like humanoid feline is the best one, or feline humanoid. There's a lot of feline humanoid searches. So yeah, I would try it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, you know, assuming that this is what you're going for. Let's see, someone do people are rolling. That's great. What do we get? Hey, look at that. Let's see. I'm going to share a screen. We can. Yep, Google search to test. Yep. That's basically the best way to do it. That's also how I learned like if I do Jim Lee, well, there's like if I just search Jim Lee in Google image search, or Jim Lee as a comic artist, right? Where he just says just go for Cats Broadway style. It's not a bad idea. But like you do like a Jim Lee Google search and you get Jim Lee comic art, you get Jim Lee the person, right? You get other people named Jim Lee because it's kind of a common name. And then you've got people drawing in the style of Jim Lee, right? So I was getting all these searches and I wasn't really happy. But then when I went to Google image search and really dug down, it was also, Google just asked me, did you mean Jim Lee comic art? Would you like to, now it gives you prompts at the top, like, would you like to see Jim Lee comic art instead? And I'm like, yeah, that's an actual search that it offered me. And so I went for it and it was a much better search. So that's cool. You got a little double stack going on here on Dusty Sky. That's pretty cool. Dusty Sky's getting another double stack on this one. Although I like where her second hand is. That's very fascinating. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's pretty good. See, that's workable. Right? Like, granted, her legs are messed up, but the costume is there. You know? It'd be a little bit better if her legs were there, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if you submitted it because the costume is there and it looks like a cool character. Oh, nice. Hey, you got the tail. What'd you put in?
I think Catwoman.
Catwoman. You're getting some good images, man. Is it done? Yeah, it's done. That's actually, that Catwoman is pretty good. I wish she had a head, but. Oh yeah, and Midjourney loves Batman, so you got to be careful that you'll start rolling, and all of a sudden it'll have Batman ears, like so much. Like there must be so many images of Batman on the internet. Look at this one. What? That's dope. All right, I'm taking that one. This is one of those you got to be careful because I know it's going to change. Broadway cats, Ed McGinnis. You added Broadway cats.
I get credit to Rageous.
That's all you did was add Broadway cats to
I
it?
put Broadway cats at the front, and this is what we got.
Dude, that's sick. And it doesn't even, it's so strange. It's like, it's not an Ed McGinnis style or a Katsuhiro Otomo or an Art Adams, but it's kind of is. Wow. That's a dope image, man. I wish there was more detail in the costume because it's just a black costume, you know? But
Yeah.
That's an awesome, awesome image. That's really cool. Great pose. Yeah, this stuff is addictive.
It is.
So we're in the Foundry. If anybody wants to practice rolling, like right now, hint, hint. Like, we're here. That's a great image. I'm gonna U1 that for you because I want to check that out. You're rolling Broadway cats is a good one. Should we? You know what we should do here? I'm gonna try. Since I know MK has this on in the background, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take the roll and I'm gonna do imagine Ed McGinnis, but I'm gonna do feline humanoid. Because we did the Google search and it seemed to be all right.
Oh, KG has asked, what does the S5000 do? I don't remember what that is, but that comes out of one of the settings we selected. Automatically adds it.
That's probably
The style?
Style, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably where I have the style set.
Yeah, you can. I think you can lean into like. I don't play with it that much. I probably should. Turned out to be. It's probably why he got such a stylized thing. Let's try it. That's what I'm saying, man. Once you start learning it doesn't have that many features, but it does. Like it's.
Yo, look at that female humanoid.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't mess it up, my journey.
Look at that. It's got like oh my God, it's got like this skull. Dude, I love that. It's like it came up, it almost looks like a skull on her chest that goes into the belt.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, into the belt.
It's like
yeah.
teeth. It's like teeth. It's like an open mouth. That's wicked, dude.
Oh, it's so cool.
Oh, it changed it a little bit, but we could always change it back to that. Oh, don't mess it up. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. That's the style, upping the style to 5,000.
Yeah, it looks a little like pain and suffering or something. Something a little too weird.
Look at that though.
It's so good.
That's pretty cool. Again, the hands are jacked up, but who cares? You know?
Yeah.
Like we can fix that. That's really crazy. Odd how I don't see the feline. Does she have ears? It looks like she might have. Yeah, that's so weird. Oh God, that's crazy. Jeez. What is up? Feline humanoid. Well, maybe it's because humanoid is not human. Right? So maybe it's like seeing like the shape of a human but not a human. Which would explain why they're kind of like blobby in some parts.
Yeah.
Right? But then I've defined it as a cute woman, so it has to keep the shape of a cute woman. Or it's trying to. Right? Half the job is like figuring out why it did what it did.
KG has asked about what is up beta? What does up beta do?
So up beta is something that it puts on itself. So up beta, when you roll it, it's gonna do it. It's gonna add to it, right? That's something that Midjourney just adds. I believe that's part of the render,
Test, right?
the new test feature that it does. It's not something that we have anything to do with. Let's see. Let me get. I've got a bunch of cats on my screen. Let's do this. I'm going to do Venture Brothers. Do Venture Brothers here. I'm going to do female. Then I'm going to add beautiful, cute woman, cute face. I'm going to take out the 3/4 because standing makes sense. And then do I want to add? All right, Regis is jumping in. Hell yeah. Let's see. Let's add that. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to do the. Oh yeah, it added the. Oh, that was you. I wanted to add the. I'm gonna do style 5000. What the hell? A style 5000. That's Yeah, there's a space. Okay. Ooh, feline human with tail. Yo, look at that. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Don't lose it, Midjourney. That's fucking dope. Don't lose it. Oh, yours looks cool, man. Still a little wonky, but Cece's like holding. She's like with tail. She's just like holding it, but I love the hair.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I also think there's a secret. Oh, pause. MK says pause. Yeah, you can add pause. Has pause or pause as hands. Hands are pause, maybe. I also think there's something like if you add too many prompts, it won't do them all. I think that's something as well. Like I've noticed, like if you do too many prompts, then it's just gonna stop. It's just gonna randomly select. So it's not necessarily the fewer the better, but there is a point of like balance. You know, I'm rolling good tonight. Look at that. That's dope. What? Look at that, dude.
Oh, that's good.
That's so cool. That's a Venture Brothers mix, but it rendered it deeper. That's so cool. I don't know what's behind her or anything, but
And just so you all know, the word butt is banned by Midjourney, so do not try to put butt. Do not
I
try
was
to
going to
put
say this
tail
was
on butt.
banned.
Yeah. With tail on hindside?
Glutes. Glutes. Tail attached to glutes.
The word glutes is banned. I'm gonna get banned from Midjourney if this keeps going. Oh dear.
Fanny. That's a cool one. They banned glutes. Or big hips, I bet would work.
Well, I'm trying to describe where the tail is positioned, right?
Yeah. KG says I put protruding from lower back. Didn't work.
Oh, Regis, you need to start with /imagine. So you can copy your prompt there, do /imagine, and then paste it where it says prompt.
Re-roll this one. I'll re-roll. I'm gonna have to go back through here later and like capture some of these. Also, big secret. I'll show you guys a secret. So let's say I want okay, so this is Dusty's, right? That's the and this is the high res one, right? Let's say that I wanted to keep a copy of it, right? If you go to your reactions and you do the envelope, it can't be just any envelope. It literally has to be the envelope emoji. What'll happen is it'll DM it to me. So, and you can do this with anything. You can go to Midjourney's own Discord and DM shit to yourself. So I'm going to do this, and then over here, of course, in the top, in your icons, you'll see that Midjourney will DM me and tell me I have it. So watch this. So click it. See, all of a sudden, it just gave it to me. So that's pretty cool, because that way, like, it's also cool. Like if you create something, we want you to create stuff in the Foundry, right? But you also want to keep it for yourself. And the other thing is, I will tell you a secret. You do want to mail it to yourself, because what it gives you is it gives you the seed number. Like here, I'll show you. Well, I don't want to. I'll make sure if I have anything in there that's. I'll just show you, whatever. All right, so perfect. I'll just use this one. So I did this. This was from the other night, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, like a comic layout page. So what it does is it gives you the seed number right here, and it gives you the job ID. Okay. So what I could do is I can go into, and I do this all the time. Like I'll make my stuff, and then I'll mail it to myself, and I'll delete it so that it removes it off of Midjourney, so people can't copy my prompts. Right. But it doesn't disappear. I can always call it back. If I wanted to re-roll it and do variations, I could always call it back through the job number. And if I want to do the seed number, you can actually use, if this has like this, if this is like cool and you're like, man, I want something to start from that, then you can actually take the seed number and start rolling it, and it'll actually it'll sample from this image, right? So you can just like I do this all the times, and you'll see me, I've gotten into a habit of it. So what I'll do is, after we do the rolls, I'll go back through these really cool rolls that I love, and I'll mail them to myself, and then I'll probably delete them, right? Just off of here. Although the Foundry, I'll probably keep it on, but you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm doing it on my own server or whatever, I'll just delete it so that other people on Midjourney, because anything you post here also goes on Midjourney's feed. You're not hiding anything. But what you can do is you can mail it to yourself and delete it here, and that way Midjourney doesn't have it publicly. Make sense? And that's a secret, because they have this thing called private mode, which means you can roll in private and it won't post it, but you got to pay extra for that.
Yeah. Like
$50 a month. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to delete it and send it to myself. So just a little pro tip. That's weird. You're rolling some weird stuff.
Kind of a little weird.
Oh shit. Look at that.
I know, I saw it. So good.
That's so cool. I feel good. I felt really bad like on Monday, because I was like, this is great. You just watch, guys. And this just was trash roll after trash. I was like rolling ones all night. Ooh, that's kind of cool. She's a little wonky, but that's still kind of cool. It might be. I wouldn't post that for a character, but that's still a cool design. Inspiration for a future design, maybe. Hey, thanks for the waste. Oh, Dusty, that's kind of cool. You get some weird rolls, bro. Oh, foxtail on bottom. Feline tail on bottom. Is that what it was?
Feline human with tail on bottom. Yeah.
So it added it to her leg. Rages. Oh, shit. He's doing Voltron. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, Dusty, that looks great.
That one's pretty good.
That's so good, dude.
She's almost got a tail, too.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing. I could make that into a tail. Like, that gives me enough information where I could turn that into a tail.
Yeah.
Right? It's just about using your imagination, right? I love that. That's really good. Great job, Dusty. Oh man. Oh, that anatomy is so cool, but damn it. That's part up here is so cool. Wow.
Then it gets a little weird.
Yeah, it does I don't know why it does that. It's like it loses the plot. You know what I mean? Like it can't. It's like it loses knees and waists, I guess, like in certain angles, which is I'm sure that's going to be one of those things they can figure out. You know, because it's such a cool shot otherwise. And it tends to be this kind of an angle where it's like, oh, is that a knee or a waist? I think it's a waist. So
yeah,
we're just going to keep going with it. Oh, Rages, that's sick. That's dope, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Leg strength. He put leg strength. Boondocks as original comic art. Yeah. It does have kind of like a McFarlane Voltron, like a detailed Voltron effect. That's cool, man. Ooh, Dusty's rolling some good ones now. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
Yo, what? Look how good that is.
And that's another thing I do too, is when I find a prompt that kind of works, I'll re-roll the same thing like 5 or 6 times and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of them are pretty good.
KG says, I just added Midjourney to my test Discord to work on it so I don't give up much ideas. Yeah, man, no worries about that. Totally get that. And keep all the cool rolls for the future. Hell yeah, man. I mean, that's what I do. This character's looking great. That's a great character. If that hits, I'd love to see a little more of the face. Oh, that's so weird. The face didn't do too well, but the body is fantastic. The anatomy on it, it nailed it, dude. See, that could be a submission. That's totally fine. I'm like, okay, so she's got ears, right? And I'd fix up the hair a little bit. And of course, obviously, I redraw the whole thing, but it could still have the same color and kind of the same color fades.
Yeah.
You know, just use it as inspiration for it. All right, MK Sand, he's taking the night. MK, thank you, sir. I'm glad you think he's an excellent chill stream. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Let's do it, man. I want everyone to have fun and get into this. And like, honestly, man, we're just trying to spread the wealth in the best way we know how. And doing contests like this is how it's going to be done. It's fun, it's easy, and it should be enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're literally building the next great Marvel universe using AI and NFTs. Like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, how the weirdest cutting edge shit ever. Awesome. Maybe we'll do a couple more and then we'll end it. We'll kind of kick it out. Dusty's still adding tails to feet. That's just
that one's kind of cool.
It's
except
cool
for the second body.
Oh, weird. That one's crazy. I love that face though. Oh, it's still working on it. Oh wow, look at that. You actually got almost got 2 full bodies on that one. So strange. Let's see, I'll roll one more here.
Yeah, I don't think it likes that tail on bottom. It's getting a little confused by it.
Yeah, I don't think it understands what you're trying to do. I mean, it makes sense. I don't really understand it. Let's see, what do we want to do? I'm going to roll. I'll try feline humanoid one more time because I know it's not going to work, but I'll try it. Then we'll do. All right. There we go. We got a couple rolls going. Let's see what happens. I just love scrolling through here, man. There's so many good ideas. There's so many cool things to see. Yeah, it's giving me the kind of cool image. I mean, again, it's so hard for me now to get away from these prompts because, like, I played with order of operations. I played with so much, you know. I mean, it's one of those things you kind of end up getting a result in a style that you really like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I'm done. I'm just gonna use this. I don't need to add much more to it. It's more like I think at this point it would be like trying. I think my next experiment with this is going to be trying to get poses, right? Like
Dude, that'd be
jumping,
awesome.
like jumping towards the camera or anything. And now I've seen some really interesting ways to do this. So there are some really cool ways that we can kind of force Midjourney to do it using image prompting, right? It won't be perfect, but I think with multiple roles, we'll be able to do it. What is that? She looks strange. All right, let's see. We got.
Yeah, look at that one. It's actually not that bad.
Look at that. Yeah, kind
Got
of
the tail.
Tail a little bit.
Kind of weird things going on with the feet, but I think that's fixable.
Yeah, the face is a little weird, but it's still there. Could absolutely be. I love that background, man.
Yeah.
The background is my favorite part of it. I love sometimes Midjourney's backgrounds on these character cards, depending on the artist you use. Oh, the backgrounds are so good. Oh, look at that one. I know it's going to change. I didn't even want to look at it. It's so good. I get inspired when it looks like that, like a 30%, like, oh, it's so good. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always begging Midjourney, please don't mess this one up. It looks so good.
Yeah. Oh, it's changing it a little bit. Make it good. No whammies. This one's Bobo. Again, leg to hip. It's all right though. Wow, that's actually looking pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see this one. She came out a little weird. All right, that's a pass. Oh, yours came out cool. I like how yours. You're getting some good abstract ones, man. All right, here she is. Let's see. All right, her face is a little jacked up, but the costume is cool and the pose is cool. I like
Looks
it better.
like her left leg looks like it's on backwards, but
yeah, a little bit.
I don't know why Midjourney does that.
Yeah.
But the costume's really good.
Honestly, it's probably like the best thing. You know what I mean? Like that's why it's like original. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It's really making it by itself. It's really not like ripping off another artist. It's genuinely painting based on what it thinks it sees.
Yeah.
It's just not that it's educated in certain ways and not in others.
Dude, imagine it in like 1 to 2 years. It's gonna be crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's why we got to flood the system with this stuff, because that's the whole point. And I know MK might get a kick on this by a lot that he left, but like it's not going to be that long. One of the reasons we do this now is because we can flood the zone with an adult fantasy style, right? And put it out there, tag images, adult fantasy, like just put it out there. And in 4, 5, 10 years, you won't need a prompt. You'll just type in imagine adult fantasy or whatever AI program is du jour at the moment, AI adult fantasy character, and boom, you'll get something super cool, right? Like that's kind of where we're starting. I mean, you have to think about the future, right? Like how cool would that be? I think
it's gonna be super cool.
It'd be so good. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna call it super good. I feel really good about tonight's evening alpha chill stream. Hope you guys got a lot of value out of it, and I hope this is helpful. I hope that this kind of makes it a little more clear I know there's a lot of people that aren't watching our chill stream tonight, so we'll also follow this up in Discord. We'll make some announcements, and we'll let everybody know. But yeah, get your submissions in, get these characters in. Like, take. You know, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind keeping the extra reward for myself, but just saying, let's do it. All right. What do you think, Dusty?
Yeah, exactly that though, Todd. We really get those submissions in because it's like free money, right? It's like free money if you win. You get paid for your creative contributions.
It's a prize. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a challenge. It's a contest. It's like the engagement in the engagement post. You know, do the engagement giveaway. It's a giveaway. All you have to do is engage. Like, it's not that complicated, you know.
And have fun. And
have fun, you know. That's it. KG says, appreciate the help. Look forward to the list of prompts. Yeah, man, absolutely. We're gonna take care of this. We'll set it up for you, and we're gonna keep doing this. Like, don't even hesitate if there's problems. Like, if you're trying to get an idea out, talk about it. Like, that's what general's for. Like, we'll totally help out, man. You know what I mean? We'll totally hook it up. Absolutely. And I'll be pushing some stuff in a Foundry too, just to show that. I mean, I do it all day. Like, I have stuff that's one of the reasons why I keep things on slow, because I just hit render and I can do work and I don't get sucked in all day to it. I can just kind of let it run in the background while I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. But all right, guys, love you all. KG, thank you. MK, thank you. Carrot, thank you. Regis, thank you as always. Everybody. J-Roz here, you know, earlier. Natasha, Willie D, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, we will talk to you soon. There you go, Regis. Hit that thing up, man. I love it. All right, guys. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. God bless. We'll be over in Discord. All right. Peace out.